If you're like me and have had a Cyberpunk 2077 relegated to the sidelines, just waiting for something to come along that can sufficiently scratch that Cyberpunk itch, then the Ascent might be something you definitely want to consider. A neon-infused fever dream with a well-fleshed-out combat system and some innovative game mechanics give this game an incredibly unique feel that's hard to compare to any other. I'm going to start off by saying one thing. You can't compare this game to Cyberpunk 2077. Yes, I know a lot of you out there will be thinking about, well, how does this compare then? And I'm going to stop you right there. There's a sense of uniqueness and style to the Ascent that very much means that it is a whole different beast to Cyberpunk 2077. Yes, there is your typical neon grunge and brutalist architecture. Yes, there are a plethora of street merchants willing you to hawk you their scraped together cybernetics, but that's where the comparisons end, really. The Ascent is so much more than the genre stuff. It's the type of creation you only really get when seasoned and highly talented veterans sit in a room, roll out the mini-fridges, and get to work making whatever the hell they want. Crucially, this game is an RPG, and that is quite important since the Ascent doesn't really advertise itself as one. It's got all your general RPG-isms, levelling up, spending your hard-earned skill points on balance, weapons and other gubbins, and generally these impact things like reload speed, and let's be honest, reload speed is a necessity here, which I'll get onto in a bit. When I first put hand to mouse to play the Ascent, my first thought was, how will the combat play out? For starters, a laser line with only up and down movement, as well as the full 360-degree spinaroo, seemed a little bit limiting. I could not have been more wrong. The combat is incredibly satisfying, shots have a brilliant weight to them, the gun audio is just perfection, and the movement and dodging is sublime. And all this was thrown at me in the space of about 20 seconds when I first got the chance to dig into the combat during the game's first mission. It was amazing, I can't describe how that burst battle made me feel, but it was somewhere between playing badass action music in my head and laughing with joy at just how fun it was. And then I got to my first human enemies. The first mission, throwing mostly basement goblins at my face, gave me this incredible false sense of security, and when I inevitably accidentally combat rolled backwards into a group of humans, all hell broke loose. Frequently, I'd get hit from off-screen, which is something I think is one of the few things that knocks the combat a little. It's very much a choice of bringing the enemies out from their hiding spot or just shooting blindly in the hope you'll hit something off-screen, and I tended to opt for the latter. The visuals of this game are where the Ascent truly ascend above most of the games out there right now. The combination of crammed and bustling cities with an absolutely gorgeous colour palette makes every single scene pop and makes the inevitable spotlighting of where you need to go blend completely effortlessly. I can't even begin to describe how many times I just ran through areas, not even bothering to really check where I was going, because of the fact I was just mesmerised by the whole visuals of it. The story, while fairly standard, still held some awesome moments. A big corporation collapses, you have to pick up the pieces. I won't go into too many details because spoilers, but the amount of detail again is just absolutely insane. The Ascent takes some of the best tropes from the genre and mashes them together into this brilliant amalgam of plot and side quests, and it never gets boring. The most impressive part about the Ascent is just how well done it is. Considering it's made by a core team of just 12, which is insane, the game feels like it was made by a team of many times more than that. Regardless of the fact it's made up of a large amount of industry veterans, it still takes some serious skill to make a game this good with a team that small. I am absolutely in love with this game. It's incredibly internet in the world building aspects, and it almost reminds me of old school adventure games. Think Zelda and other games along those lines. Not what I expected, but I am absolutely fine with that. The option is always there for you to back off and head back to upgrade something if you're having a tough time taking down a set of enemies.